Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Atlas. In today's episode, we're going to be primarily taking a look and focus on Chainlink and some news relevant to that, as well as giving you guys a brief update on Bitcoin and on Orchid. So, if you guys haven't already subscribed to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit like. We're on the road trying to push towards 1,000 subscribers. For those of you guys that are returning, good to see you guys again. And also, I'm not a financial advisor, so anything that I'm sharing with you is for entertainment purposes. I'm doing my own research. You should always do yours and just kind of take everything with a grain of salt. But hopefully, this will give you guys some good, valuable information. So first off, let's take a look over at Chainlink. And Chainlink, we have set up a Fibonacci retracement level here, and you can take a look from the high of approximately $20 down to the low of $9. We are currently sitting at $12.45, with us having bounced off of the 0.382. You can see that we are climbing downwards just slightly. Bitcoin at the moment is slightly down. Orchid is slightly down. Things are showing a little bit of bearishness as we start to go in towards Labor Day. This is Sunday night as of the time of this video. And with the CME opening up, with the stock market opening up after kind of a rough weekend or rough end to the week last week for the stock market, next week could be a very important integral part to where the next kind of trend pattern is going to be going on with all of this. So when we take a look at Chainlink here, we have a potential of it dropping down to the 0.236, which is looking around $11.73. That's the next level that you guys should really be eyeballing. Another major level would be down in the $9.18. If we can reclaim back up to the 0.382, the next level would be testing is probably actually touching baseline off of the 21 EMA. So the 21 EMA is setting at the $13.85. If we can break above that, then we're looking to climb up further to $14.55. Those are the immediacies that I would really keep an eye out for as far as Chainlink goes. But as far as for this negative sentiment that's kind of showing right now, we did have a bit of a climb back up. The RSI is slightly below the median zone. Oh, it's nothing to worry about too much with the RSI. But we do want to take into consideration some outside news. It's not a big impacting factor, but it's something to kind of take into consideration. So crypto analyst is suggesting that they think that Chainlink is going to be worth around $5 to $8. This guy is not a financial advisor either. He makes that clear. It's just him sharing his thoughts and opinions. But he can you can see what he's shown over on Twitter. It said one Chainlink is worth about $5 to $8 here. And he shows this little graph chart based off of Cane Island Digital Research. You can see the trend pattern, the value in the dark blue, and then the time frame being located based on the bottom there. So off of that, then it also he goes on further to say that Chainlink's price is heavily influenced by function calls, actual use of the Chainlink network. Those calls have dropped back down to trend. I expect price... where do we go? I expect price to follow. See value Chainlink with Met. So you're seeing that this is on a downward trend on that trajectory. So over time, maybe pushing towards December, based on this, it's more identifying that around a December price range, that would make more sense that Chainlink could be around a $15 kind of price point. But right now it looks like it might be overvalued. Aside from him having talked about this, there was an attack. And you don't want to show vulnerability in the stuff that you make. Keep in mind that a lot of the industry space is still in the early stages. So it doesn't mean that this stuff can't be patched. You can't have modifications and improve things. But regardless, unfortunately, this has happened. And when we take a look at the article, I highlighted just a key component of this, but you can always read on further about this on its article website, theblockcrypto.com, and it's under the Chainlink nodes attack ETH. Quick take, at least 9 Chainlink nodes operators suffered an attack on Sunday that resulted in the draining of about 700 Ethereum from their wallets, the block has learned. The attack exploited the way in which nodes respond to queries and involved the use of a token tied to network transaction costs. Chainlink confirmed the attack and described it as a failed attempt to spam the network. One node operator, Certus1, said they lost about 20 Ethereum. one node operator. So they got nine of these Chainlink node operators, which play an essential role in powering decentralized finance or DeFi protocols by providing token price feeds, suffered an attack on August 30th that drained about 700 Ethereum. So we're looking at 1 week ago, worth about $335,000 at the time from their hot wallets, the block has learned. One source with knowledge of the matter told the block that an attacker began sending valid price feed requests, which resulted in operators having to pay a lot of gas fees or Ethereum transaction fees. Chainlink node operator Certus1 also provided details of the attack. CEO Hendrik Hofstadt told the block that the attack affected at least 9 Chainlink node operators. Hofstadt said Certus1 lost 20 Ethereum, or about $7,500 at current price. So that was on August 30th. If we go take a look at Chainlink back on August 30th, right here, you can see that's where we started to see a progressive downward trend in Chainlink's price. Doesn't directly mean that that is correlated to that news, but I'm sure it didn't really help when you add fuel to a fire. Mainly, we saw the whole industry space starting to drop down with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, a lot of those other elements. So it had a bit of a retracement back here, which is showing some good signs of bullishness after the bounce off on September 5th. Leading into September 6th, you can see that the previous day had a pretty good bullish move, climbing back all the way from a low of $9.46 at one point to hitting a high of $13.50 until it finally rested at the $12.78 level. So $12.78 level, you're only looking about a 25 cent difference at the moment. Could be a good buying opportunity, especially when you see all the potential for growth going all the way back up to its $20 price range. And based on the Fibonacci sequence level, I mean, this is really, really high up there. And I would have to look at the actual coin market cap value and stuff. But speculatively, just based on this right here, you're looking around $55. I wouldn't be expecting that anytime soon, but hey, lots of crazy stuff happens in the world of cryptocurrency, DeFi, and the state of the economy in the world right now. So who knows? Who knows? Aside from that, let's go ahead and take a look at some news with Orchid, and then we're going to kind of finish off everything with that of Bitcoin. So we've had this set up here for a while, and you can notice that we're getting really close to that pinch point. And this is almost perfectly filling in the top and the bottoms here. Over the last couple days, you can see that even right here on September 3rd, hitting the low, touching the baseline, bouncing off, came close to hitting the top, but actually had bounced off of the 21 EMA, which is really interesting. The next day, bounced off the baseline, the support, got close to touching the EMA and the cross line on top for the resistance. Then the next day, guess what? It touched the bottom and the top. Support and resistance based on the trend patterns. The next day after that, pretty close to it. And then now the daily, where we're at right now, it so far has hit the top line of the resistance and had a pullback as well. Still showing bearishness, a slow, steady decline since it hit its high of $1 back on August 16th. So at some point, the patterns are likely to reverse. Whether they're going to do that short term or long term is still hard to say, but based on the trend line indicators, what we're seeing, it's a good chance that it's going to go for a reversal pretty soon. The adoption rate of what's been going on, it's on new exchanges, a lot of other key factors. Over here, you can even see too on Orchid's website, back on August 16th, there was 15.525 million Orchid that was released. That's a lot as far as comparisons to these other days. So these ones tend to be like the big indicator ones, August 16th, 15.52. And you would think that that would actually be a negative sentiment on it. But guess what? On that day, it actually had a huge bull run. So if we have something similar happen here, then coming up, the next big one is going to be on September 16th. We had September 6th as of earlier today, 496,000. You can see that for the daily, September 6th, there was bullish move up with Orchid. There was green for the daily on that. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're correlated, but you know, we saw a major push up. I'm really curious, and I'm going to keep my eyeballs open for September 16th. September 16th, as we take a look at the trend chart right here, would actually put us at over on this line. which is away from everything else that's been going on in our pattern unless a new format is being established. At that point in time, I mean, if it just kind of fell totally flat for some reason here during that baseline, maybe we're looking at 27 cents on a low end. I wouldn't really expect it to go much lower, but that's my personal opinion. I think that the higher likelihood is that we're going to see it at higher price levels based around that time prior to leading up, as we also saw over here on the August 15th that it started to have a big rally up the day before, and a slight increase just several days leading up to as well. We had a little bit of pullback, but overall it did have an increase up during that time period. So curious to see how that's going to play out with that future. And then lastly, let's go ahead and take a look over here at Bitcoin. And with Bitcoin, it is at the moment below the 21 EMA. Is 21, yep, 21 EMA. So we want to try and get above that for it to be bullish. The fact that it's still below is showing signs of bearishness. There's also something that a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space are talking about, and it's something for you guys to take into consideration. Let's go ahead and pull back here on the daily. I might go back even further, but daily should work for us. Do I want to do weekly? Let's go ahead and do weekly. All right, so if we take a look on the weekly, since it's high back when it hit $20,000, right? We have had this happen. The price hit a new high, and we want to see a progression of Bitcoin continuing up, right? Well, that means at some point we need to hit another new high. This $14,000, we can't have that be the second pinnacle point. Excuse me for sneezing. Probably sounded weird because I held it in. $20,000 previously, $14,000. Then we had another point of $12,000. But we really need to break above this $14,000 line to show that the overall trend for the new highs is over time going to new highs. We've been setting new higher lows, but we really need to make sure that we continue to set new higher highs as well. It's very important. And what's kind of cool is that when you take a look at this line here, which I'm going to go ahead and switch that color over. Let's just make it this blue line right here. You can see that for the weekly candle, which we just had earlier today, it had bounced off of at one point during the week the 21 EMA and finished off just a little bit above it. So good signs that it's above. When it's above the 21 EMA, it's a good indicator. The price is likely to continue up. We're in a good trend. And then once it passes below that line, then it's an indication that there is potentially going to be more downtime. So the 21 EMA is a really good indicator. People also use the 20 EMA. I used the 20 EMA previously. You got the 50 and the 200, which is good indications for what's called the golden cross and the death cross. If you guys want me to show that next time because you're curious what that kind of looks like, I'll be happy to. Just let me know in the comments down below. But you can also see the fact that we came up above here. If this retraces down below and it bounces off of this resistance, the blue line, if it touches it and it goes back up and continues up, that's a good sign that we're in a bull market. That's a good sign that we've established a new form of support and that we're going to continue rising further up. Because if we break below it, then the sentiment is saying that we haven't established a strong base yet. And that's one of the big key things with technical analysis and showing 2-3 different points of reference is to say, hey, you can only bounce off of this section here so many times until you finally continue on further. If it's going down and it touches the bottom and comes up, okay, well, guess what? If it comes down and touches it again and it goes back up, you can only resist going down, so technically the support, so much until all the people that are saying, like, I'm trying to sell off, you can't stop them. It's overwhelming. So you can bounce off, come up, and then continue all the way up. Same thing going up to the top and coming down, but it can only happen so much. So the fact we passed above this is great news back here on July 20th. That week when it did that, good news as far as the more macro long term for Bitcoin and its price going up. If it drops down below, well, then we've got rougher waters to look at and we could be hitting even lower levels. I've seen some people talking around the $7,000 price range, that would still be considered a natural retracement for Bitcoin, an okay retracement. If it passed even further below that, then I would definitely start getting concerned about things based on like the long-term trajectory growth with Bitcoin. And also keep in mind that what happens with Bitcoin is kind of the leading forefront for a lot of the other cryptocurrencies. Ethereum, Chainlink, OXT, OMG. If a big enough ripple hits, Ripple, get it? XRP? No, just kidding. But if enough hits Bitcoin hard enough, then we could see the whole industry taking a hit too. There's more news on Bitcoin than any other cryptocurrency on the daily. So that was it for the news for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you guys are new and you appreciate this information, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Click the bell notification too so that you can get notified when there are new videos coming along with this. And drop a comment down below. The more likes that we get, the more comments that we get, the higher this video gets ranked in YouTube. And I would love to build a strong community. So if you guys can, even take just a moment to hit that like button. It would be cool if we got 50 likes on this video. And if you could drop a comment down below, maybe you could talk about what your forecasts are for Chainlink. Chainlink was the primary focus for this video. We did talk about some other stuff, but what are your short-term and long-term thoughts on what's going to happen with Chainlink? So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode.